Hi, my name is Redelinghuys. I'm from Transformation Cornwall, and today we're going to talk about using data to demonstrate a need. The session, how best to use the data to strengthen a funding application. So the overview is, what is data? Why do we use data? When do we use the data? How do we use that data, and where do we find good data? In a face-to-face workshop, we usually do a practical. We're not going to do this with this session. And then in the end, how do you use that data to weave it into your application to make it a strong application? So, what is data? The term data can sound a bit abstract, and it can make one feel a bit uncertain and distant if we do not know what it means. So data is actually only a collection of facts, such as numbers, words, measurements, observations, or it can just be description of things. Data can be qualitative or it can be quantitative. Now, qualitative data is descriptive information. It describes something. And quantitative data is more numerical information. It's the number side. Data is a collection of values. It's information that is processed in a way to understand. And today's session is all about that data as evidence for your project need. How do we use the data to evidence the need, and where to find the data to prove that the project is needed? So let's look at why do we use the data. Funders connect with the aims and the goals of your project. We develop projects and start up social action because there is a need. Now we need to show to the funder that there is a case, and the only way we can demonstrate it is to bring evidence, to bring the data to the funder. Now for the funder, it's about investing their money where they have evidence that the need is there, and the money that they give will be invested to bring the change they would like to see. So the data that we collect is then showcasing the funder what the need is and why the need is there. So using data in your application therefore has a persuasive effect. You're not just saying that there is a need for your project of work. You are actually demonstrating that through your numbers, through the statistics, through the stories that you're giving the funder. Data also reduce the uncertainty for the funders. They process hundreds, if not thousands, of applications, and you want to make sure that your funding application is going to stand out to them. And they will see through your data that you demonstrating that there is a need, that this is a good place to put their funding money. So by demonstrating the need, you are giving them the confidence that their investment will make a difference in the situation where you are, in your community, in the project, in the course that you apply for funding for. So using reputable sources of information adds further credibility to your proposal. It demonstrates that you're not only speaking on your own authority, but that you are saying what you're saying is backed up by other organizations, by research bodies, for instance, statistics, councils. Combining different and multiple sources of data can make it even a stronger funding application. So when you apply for the funding, we must demonstrate that there's a need for the project. So the need demonstration is dependent on the data that we've gathered. Having this evidence of need that aligns with the funding is what will convince the funder to give you the money. So it aligns with the funding aims. You have the data, you know what the need is, so voila, bullseye. At the end of the funding period, there's then also the expectation to finish off with a feedback report. And again, it's data gathering. It's monitoring the activities, is making sure you get the stories and you're recording things that you can feed back to say that you've achieved what you want to achieve. So this is then compared against the original funding aims and proves that this project was actually a success. Not only is it important to give the feedback, but to prove that you've met the needs, but it also tells the funder that next time he can fund you, they can fund you because you will give them feedback and you can showcase the difference that you have made through your work. So, the data, to get it, you must know what you want to find out. You must know what data you need. Who are the vulnerable people in this situation likely to be needing support? Who's your target group? Make sure that you know who that is. So maybe it's related to a specific age, youth, children, seniors. Maybe it's related to health, a location. You must think about the type of support. How are you going to demonstrate that? Is it for loneliness? Is it food access, fuel poverty? Where will you find these people? Is it a local community? Is it across the UK? Are they already linked into other services? That is very important information to get out for yourself, for your project, and also for the funding application that you're making. Now, the questions you ask got to be very specific. You have to ask the right questions. You've got to know what you want to know where to find the answers and how to get the information. The data can be used to answer very important questions, such as, we already said, who's in need? What does the data say about your area of need? Who are the people? Is there a specific issue, for example, age-based loneliness? Exactly what do they need? Like we have this project of winter warm places that we want to start to get into the community, rolled out to make sure that everybody in the winter has a warm place. The data's got to demonstrate a deficit of a particular type of provision: food, social, exercise, health. And then it's important to demonstrate the need. Where are the people that is in need of the services you want to deliver? How much help do they need? Can the data help inform the extent of work you're going to need to do and therefore bolster your case for seeking funding? And lastly, what will the impact be if you don't do anything? The data might also help you to demonstrate that if nothing is done, things will either stay the same or that it will actively continue to get worse. Consider who we are, how we live, what we do. Think about health, age, single people, income, crime, ethnicity. A lot of things to consider, but all of this just compact and layer your funding application to make sure that you're demonstrating the need for it. Now, where do we find the data? There are different types of data. It can be either desk-based, it can be a community audit information, and the links are on the website in the resource document. So there's a large number of data sources, and we will follow up with this information. If you can't find it on the website, you can just contact us. Here is a CUF Lookup tool, where you go to the website of CUF, put in, for instance, your town or village. In this case, we've put in Penzance, and then it comes up with a very good tool that gives you the overall deprivation. It gives you child poverty, where it is in relation to the UK, working age poverty, pensioner poverty. And if you have a project that is, for instance, in this case, child poverty, there you can see it's on the border of very deprived. Pensioner poverty is more deprived. If you look at the overall deprivation here in Penzance, it's quite a serious problem. So you could, if you're Penzance based, or you do have a project that you want to deliver in Penzance, then those are the things that you can look at to decide which age group, what the population target group is that you're going to provide the services for. For quick statistical community profile or audit, there's Street Check, UK local area, Finderhood, Nomus. These resources can give you deprivation information, it can give you crime information, community, age groups, family structures. There's a lot of information in here. Some of it is not that up to date, but it's well worth looking at it. Now you've gathered all of this data. How do you use this? It's very important to use this data very wisely. Do not throw it all in lengthy paragraphs and many words to the funders. Summarize it, brief it, get the core nuggets out of there. Keep it simple. Data that fails to be informative will make it much harder to communicate the message that you want to get across. So while the data is important, you can overwhelm the funder with too much data, and it can have the opposite effect of what you want to do. And if you are too clinical and removed from the real people, it can also not to be to your benefit. You need to showcase the heart of your project, the service that you want to deliver. So balance is key. A good way of humanizing data is to make it applicable to your service users. Instead of just showcasing data, incorporate it into your project story. Who are the people behind the statistics? Make sure your data is up to date. If you provide incorrect information, it will lower the credibility in your proposal and also credibility of your project team. For most data sources, just doing a little bit of research online can help you to find out if it is the most up-to-date. So you must think very careful. What data will resonate with your funder? And do any of your examples directly relate to their aims? So as with our first point, data should be use specific and not just for the sake of using it. So don't overwhelm the funder with negative data. There will always be a wealth of negative data out there which demonstrates a need. Make sure at the end of your proposal that you leave them hopeful for the future, not completely overwhelmed and pessimistic about the possibility of change. So I think that wraps it. My name is Anne Redelinghuys. As I told you in the beginning, if you want to make contact, Anne at transformationcornwall.org.uk, or if that is difficult to remember, info at transformationcornwall.org.uk. My mobile number is there if you want to send me a text or call me. And remember, we're there to support communities in Cornwall. The aim of what we do is to see flourishing communities. There's much more resources on our website, and look out for more workshops and training that we do. Take care.